Hey, what is up guys? So we are going to be taking a look at the new A to Z Dragon Buster Cannon. When this card comes out, pretty much your opponent has to scoop it up if they ain't killing it. But anyways, let's go and check out some few replays from a Shalamelon over here. Pretty good stuff, making the deck look pretty good. We already have that new card, Union Hanger. Pretty decent card. As soon as you activate it, you get to add one light machine type Union monster from your deck to your hand. So as soon as you activate this card, you'll be ready to go. These replays will be going kind of fast, but it's okay because we'll watch a few of them. It's the same bread and butter combo. Basically, once you bust out this card, you attack with everything, and more than likely your opponent's going to die because the card has 4,000 attack. But then it gets special summon XYZ Dragon Cannon and ABC Dragon Buster. And the Dragon Buster obviously has that effect where you can discard a card, target a card on the field, and banish it. But like I said, we got a few replays, and I also want to share off this other build that Teriyaki sent in, which is a build where you're using Safra. I feel like it's a little inconsistent. It could have those issues where you draw bad, but that can happen with any deck when you're trying to mix in too many archetypes. But I feel like it could be good, depending on what support we get for this deck. But you can see the deck is relatively fast too, and that's what I think is important in this game. You gotta have a deck that is able to compete with things that are going to be able to, first turn, second turn, throw up a relatively large field. Now, with this build, with the Ties of the Brethren, you're not going to be finishing off your opponent in one turn. But if you just activate Ties of the Brethren, more than likely you'll get all of your combo pieces set up for next turn. So I would say this deck, it doesn't really stun your opponent until you make the card, and it doesn't like OTK until, I would say like second to third turn is really where this deck excels at, because again, first turn, if you're using Ties of the Brethren, that's pretty much all you're going to be doing because you can't conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card, so you can't really destroy your opponent that turn. You're going to have to wait, and I think that's the real flaw with this deck. Obviously it's pretty fast, right? But again, when you're going up against some of these newer decks, let's say you can't special summon as soon as I got this card out, or they have a lot of ability to kind of stop your plays, this deck can kind of get stopped in its tracks. But the thing is, you have a lot of resilience with the A to Z Dragon Buster, because you're able to grab back your other cards from the graveyard. And even the ABC Dragon Buster is that during the player's turn you can discard a card, then you get to banish a card, and then during your opponent's turn you can tribute it. So if they are going to get rid of it, you're going to be able to kind of grab back some other stuff, so you can kind of make it so not only will you maybe not be OTK'd, but that card won't be banished, and then maybe you can use it later down the line with some other cards. You can see Ties of the Brethren activated over here. And I think that's a really key card in this deck, because it obviously lets you basically set up for your entire combo. You get the ABC already set up like turn 1. Really great stuff. But again, I feel like that can also be a problem, because this is it's field right now, right? You have nothing that's just stunning your opponent. And because this build that Shalami sent in, it doesn't have any traps, so basically you're susceptible to losing, because look at this Raid Raptor play. He goes off, he goes and destroys all the stuff, but these cards technically get effects already in the graveyard, so you're not so bad off in that aspect. But again, had he made that ultimate Raid Raptor, he busted out the what is it? The one that's good, that reduces everything. Oh, and during the end phase, your opponent takes 1,000 if they don't control a monster with attack or something. That card can be pretty nasty to run into. Although you could technically crash into it with the A to Z, because this is also 4,000 attack, so that can also be a thing. But again, I like that effect that you could do attack with it, and then you go ahead and swap back in and you grab a bunch of other cards. He already actually activated the Raid Raptor Readiness this turn, so He has monsters could not be destroyed by battle, and he takes no damage that turn. But still, nonetheless, it's kind of cool to see this deck see some play. After how many years, XYZ Dragon Cannon is still seeing some play. It's cool to see that we're getting support for older stuff. But anyways, he busts out the Rise Falcon over here to attack all of the special summon monsters once each, but he's going to be able to recycle some of the cards. So right now he's got the C, he's got the B, he's got the double Bs. And then he has the ABC Dragon Buster, and then he equips it via Union, and then he's also able to equip it double Union over here, which could get pretty good, because we have that fact where obviously the unions have that effect where if it be destroyed, you destroy like the union instead. But this one, it makes it so it's unaffected by the traps, although it just died. But if you equip all of the cards, like the ABC, it makes it basically so it can't be affected by monsters. Well, this one over here makes it so it's unaffected by the spells. This one makes it unaffected by monster effects, and this one makes it immune to traps. So you can see like the deck wants to be like one of these like decks where it goes for one card and then it's like equip, and then you're going to be good to go. But then scramble union over here, so you can target 3 of the banished machine type normal and or union monsters. You special summon them during either player's turn, except the turn the card is sent to the graveyard. You can banish it, target one of your banished light machine normal or union monsters and add it to your hand. You can only activate 1 per turn. But special summoning 3, that's a really strong effect. Now obviously he went and busted out the ABC stuff, but you can still like go for stuff in the extra deck. Yeah, I think he at one point used the Tsukiyomi over here, and he was able to draw 2 cards. That's a decent little effect, right? But for the most part, I think you're going to be going for the ABC because, you know, that's kind of what the deck wants to do. But he activates Twin Twister. Then, like, again, even though you're going on all in and you don't have very much protection, if your opponent does not finish you off, I feel like a lot of times you can kind of come back and you can destroy your opponent. So I feel like it's got a little bit of potential. Again, I don't think it's tier 1. You guys let me know what you think about this deck, because I think it's got like I said, potential, but it just lacks that like first turn explosive play, where you're either making a like huge play so your opponent can't do anything, like you're stunning them so they can't play, or you are going to be OTKing them. There's no FTK, I think, in this deck. But there is the ABC Dragon Buster, which technically can stun. It gets rid of 1 card, which against certain decks that can be pretty good. But anyways, look at that, Fluffle Mouse getting triple. When Fluffle Mouse gets triple, it's just so dang dirty. But anyways, he goes ahead and activates that effect, and then he's going to change the effect so he can get the triple, because this card had the effect to destroy it. But if you're swapping targets, that's really good. So he's able to get rid of the tiger, but he's got another tiger, another one, man. But look at that tiger, so many destruction effects. But again, you're getting so many searches out that if your opponent does not OTK you, you will be set up to go. So he's going to go ahead and special summon the Z Metal Tank as well as the Y Dragon Head. And then from here you can see that he's got Ties of the Brethren, but he doesn't really need it because he can just go ahead and use those Ignites, which I thought was a pretty good mix because they are machines. So that actually helps him out quite a bit. And he's able to go ahead and just special summon a bunch of cards. And then from there, I'm sure you guys can see that he can go ahead and attack and swap out the target. I mean, look, all these cards he's getting out essentially for free, because the cards were just in the graveyard. So again, looking like a pretty decent deck. But we've got one more replay over here to share with you guys. And then I want to show off this other build that is a little bit more interesting. I feel like it has consistency issues, like I said before, but again, it's all about just kind of showing off other ways to play the deck, because now that you guys have seen like the bread and butter and like the basic combos of the deck, you guys can maybe get a better understanding of how you want to build your deck. But I'll also give you guys a deck profile for this, so you guys can mess around with it. Let me know what you guys think should be added. I think Ignites are pretty decent, again, just because you have like the painful decision. I was even thinking like you could run Rescue Rabbit in it, just because Rescue Rabbit gets you double the vanillas, so it helps you get your deck going relatively quick. And because you're using Ignites, you might not always need that normal summon. And on top of that, you have the Union Hangers, so that gives you extra free cards. And then you have the awesome effect where you get to target one of those monsters, equip from your deck an appropriate light machine type monster, a Union one. So you can go relatively quick in this deck. But again, I'm mentioning it several times, it just doesn't have that first turn play that I think a lot of people technically would like to see in a high tier deck. But anyways, there's this one over here that I thought was kind of interesting. So the other guy's playing a magician build that is super anti-spells. Now with the XYZ, the ABC dragons, they don't really rely too much off of spells because you don't use polymerization when you go ahead and fuse for the cards. So that obviously would matter a lot. If like the guy was like activating the secret village and you had to have polymerization, then yeah, you're out pretty much at that point. But I just thought it was interesting to add Saffron into the deck because you have this card where it's that you can discard a card, then you get to target one card in the field and banish it. So if you have both of them out, obviously that's a pretty good effect. Plus having that other effect where you get to draw 2 cards and then discard a card with Saffron's effect, that can let you cycle through your ABC dragons and then just kind of banish them. So I feel like this more will be kind of like a Lightsworn-ish build. Like you could not Saffron, but like the idea of just sending them to the graveyard, because I've seen builds where they go and they play. Heck, I've seen Burning Abyss try to do it with a Dante try to mill. But I think like you can definitely mess around with some Lightsworn cards. But I like this build where it's like really fast with a painful decision, and you don't have to risk milling the wrong cards, because that can definitely hurt you in certain times in the game where it's like you mill all of your Lightsworn stuff, but then you don't have the Judgment Dragon because you're playing the ABC build. Heck, maybe you play the Judgment Dragon in there, but like you can see how strong this deck can be, and it just makes fields that like they would probably near OTK people in tag duels, and he's disrespecting him over there with that the ABC and the A2Z. I'm getting the whole alphabet up in here, but overall, I think it's a pretty interesting deck, and looking forward into the game. Like the power creep is definitely real. Like if you see this deck, like it's just everything. Look at Terry. He doesn't even want to end the game. He's just going off for more cards. He's gonna go ahead and bust out double A2Zs over here, and A2Z is a pretty good card. But unfortunately, Silent Magician doesn't really do too much against this deck because, again, the thing that makes this deck like good, so to speak, is that your opponent can't like play their spells, but it's pretty much irrelevant. In this case, because look how many like free cards this deck is going off with, and I wanted, like I said, share this replay because it was an interesting concept to add Saffra in here, but it's still like going off. Like he's got like 4 fusions on the field, and he can, oh man, destroy his own cards, get wrecked, man. But I thought it was pretty interesting, very good stuff indeed. But I know some of you guys want to mess around with the deck yourself, so if you guys want to mess around with it, it's to give you guys a good idea. This is Shalami's version of it, but yeah, I just thought it was interesting, and you guys can check it out. Again, if you guys have any suggestions for this deck, let me know in the comment section below from his build, and you guys can help out each other. But he's got the double head cannons, he's got the triple Templars, and then triple Paladin, and then one Crusader, one Squire, then triple A, triple B, double Y, double Z, and triple C, triple Painful, Rhoda, One Day Peace, triple Ties of Brethren, Upstart, triple Terraforming, because this card, like, it's really important in the deck. Triple Union, and then triple double Squire Union. Then we have double the A2Z, triple ABC, double XYZ. Then we have the Utopia. Then we have the Gear Gigant X, which is a great card. We have the Silent Honor Arc. Then we have Castell, and then the Bujin Tsukiyomi. And then lastly, that dagger goes to Emerald. So thanks both of you guys for sending in these replays. Pretty cool to see this card in action again, like using those old school fan favorite cards. I think some people just like this card. It's the OG XYZ card. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you guys give that like button a titty slap. And I'm signing out.